Hello, welcome to this video. I've been preparing a video on George Benson, who has been woefully covered on my channel. One of my favourite guitar players, one of my favourite singers, one of my favourite smooth Fusaki artists, one of the few guys who can pull it off. And so I thought, I've got to do a video on George Benson. So I thought, I'm going to play one of his tunes. Well, it turned out it wasn't one of his tunes. It's a tune by Leon Russell, but it was made famous on his multi-million selling Breezing album, and it's a beautiful tune called This Masquerade. So I went to my daughter Grace and said, shall we do it? And we did it very simply, me on acoustic guitar and her singing it. And just to give some background to how I approached recording this, it's just straight down the line, and we basically just started recording it, and we must have done it 6 or 7 times. And I waited until Grace and myself were having fun with it. So what you're going to see is the final take where we feel that we've got the tune in the bag and we're just messing around with it. Grace actually talks over the end because we're just having so much fun playing it. So this is me and my daughter Grace performing This Masquerade, written by Leon Russell and made famous by George Benson.
Are we really happy here with this lonely game we play? Looking for words to say, searching but not finding, understanding it anyway. We're so lost in a masquerade, both afraid to say we've come so far away from being close together from the start. We tried to talk it over, but the words got in the way. We're lost inside this lonely game we play. Thoughts of leaving disappear every time I see your eyes. No matter how hard I try, well, thoughts of leaving disappear every time I see your eyes. We're so lost in a masquerade. We're so lost in a masquerade. Said thoughts of leaving disappear too jazz, so I forgot the line.
Doesn't matter about forgetting the line. That's good. So when I put this online, of course everybody said what an incredible singer my daughter is, because she is, and her ability to improvise through these chord forms is, she is very capable, considering she's 16 years old. I think it's quite incredible. But of course she's grown up listening to lots and lots of jazz, and so she's picked up things by ear. She doesn't theoretically know what she's doing, but she knows what the sound of these things are, and she has worked it to come up with melodies that she finds interesting over these chord progressions. Now I feel that this aspect gets forgotten in music education, so what I want to do on this video is run through this tune a little bit, look at the chords, and I'm going to talk to you about how I think about it and how I try and simplify everything down so that I can start expressing myself rather than getting bogged down with lots and lots of theory. Right, so the tune starts off On the original, it's in F minor, but I felt that moving it up a tone would put it more into Gracie's vocal range. So now I've got it in G minor, and the first chord is a G minor. Right, now the way I'm playing G minor, for those of you who want to know, is I'm thinking it very simply. I'm thinking of a triad built off this G here, which is on the 5th fret on the D string. And I'm playing a shape which is really useful for people who are a bit dumb, like myself, because the notes are in order of the chords. So we have G, the first, we've got a B flat here, right? Can you hear that flat third? And then we have the D here forming a triad. Now, I then add in the bass, if I wanted to, you could then add a G as a bass note, and we come up with this chord, which I'm playing with my fingers. I'm playing the bass note here, I'm plucking the triad with these fingers. If you want to get into G minor using this chord shape, you've got to start and do the work, which means I would sit down, get a phone so you can record yourself, and record about 5 minutes of this. Now, if you find that boring, tough. That's the first thing. Just get used to playing that chord. Play it for a long time and hear it. Get used to playing it and get your fingers around it. That's G minor, and the minor is such a common tonal center to be improvising around. Now, how would you improvise around this G minor? Well, let's keep it really simple and let's use a G minor pentatonic, which is this shape. G, B flat, C, D, F, G. Now, when you improvise on guitar, you've got a problem. If you try and utilize scales are not great at creating a melody that relates to the tonal center, because a scale actually has notes in it. If you're playing, say, G minor over a G minor chord, if you play G minor scale over G minor chord, some of those notes will not be that harmonic. They won't sound that nice. The only notes that really work over this chord are the 3 notes in the chord. But if you only play those, it's going to sound boring. So melodies are about creating a tension in playing notes that aren't in the chord, and then creating a consonance or release of that tension by playing notes that are in the chord. And it's that simple. You don't have to get into all fancy harmonic knowledge. So I'm playing a flat second here over this chord. That's what it is, but you don't need to think of it like that. Just think about notes that are in the chord and notes that aren't in the chord. And once you start thinking like that, you'll think, well, scales are bloody useless for this. Now, the rock pentatonic has got 5 notes. 3 of them are in the chord and 2 of them sound sort of okay. So if you've never improvised before, you are going to be able to start now going up and down this scale, and it's going to sort of sound okay. I promise you, if you utilize the arpeggio notes, it's not going to sound very good. And if you use the minor scale, it's not going to sound very good. And I'm going to show you that because I've got here that chord looping. So there's the G minor. Let's put a G minor scale over it. If you're not used to improvising and you go, well, Andy said this scale works, and you've got that note there and you start playing it, or even I've actually made it sound better. I've made it a natural 6. It should be this one. playing the notes out of a minor scale. And if you notice, people have gone, oh, Andy went wrong then when he played that minor scale, because he changed it to the Dorian mode. I did that without knowing, right? Because I've trained my fingers to respond to what I'm hearing in a much more subconscious level, you know, and it overrides my knowledge of the scale. So yeah, a minor scale should have this flat 6, and it sounds bloody horrible. So scales don't work. Right, let's try utilising the notes out of the chord now. I'm having to work hard to turn the arpeggio into something that sounds reasonable. It sounds pathetic. It sounds too simplistic. There's no tension there. It sounds like somebody playing a bugle over it. Right, so I always feel that pentatonic scales when you start are the best scale for you to learn that tension between notes that are really in tune and that notes that are less in tune but still attractive. So with the minor pentatonic, you can hit any of those 5 notes and they're all going to sound fine. Sounds fine, doesn't it? You know, it's better than the scale approach. Right now, I've practiced enough now that my fingers can find the notes that are in the chord regardless of what I play. And it's very hard for me to do the thing that beginners do, and I've seen a million times teaching music, where you give it the scale shape and they think that just by going up and down that scale shape it's going to sound like they know what they're doing. It won't. You've got to make those notes make sense. Now, how do you make those notes make sense? You have to play at a certain point notes from the chord so that it sounds like you're in the chord. So your brain goes, oh yeah, they're playing in G minor. Oh, he's telling the story, he's going out. He's going out and then always come back in again. That is really important melodically. And I would say if you're in a minor, and a lot of the times that's where we start improvising from, use the minor pentatonic. Now, what I've seen with students when they try and do this is they then try and do something more than just using the minor pentatonic. At this point, we just have to trust the minor pentatonic and we got to learn what it does. Now, the way to do that is to start to think rhythmically. Rhythm is far more important in soloing than notes are. I learned this from Michael Brecker. There's a couple of Michael Brecker workshops, and everything he talks about on his workshops are about rhythm. And there's one where he goes, I'm so obsessed with rhythm, I learned to play the drums. And Brecker gets on the drum kits and starts playing. He's better than bloody I am on the drums. It's annoying. He's incredible. So you know his rhythmical approach is so powerful. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that minor pentatonic, and rather than trying to be clever with it and add extra notes or think that the secret of improvisation is in the harmonic notes, it's not. It's in the phrasing, right? So how do you develop phrasing over something like this? Well, let's just think in terms of rhythms, right? And start with some really basic approaches. So if we take the rock pentatonic, let's take 3 notes out of it. So let's take these notes. So I'm going to go. Now you see, if you're a beginner and you play that, you're going to go, that doesn't sound very good. I know, because you have to make it make sense, because this That's a flat 7. It's sort of in the chord, but that note that I landed on wants to resolve to probably there. So let's just resolve it to there. So phrase. Now it sounds okay. Now, you may be, if you're a beginner, going, oh my God, so what am I supposed to do? This is why it's hard. But this video has at least shown you why it is hard, because you've got to make these notes tell a story, right? And the story is actually from the rhythm. Now, this rhythm, you probably say, it sounds a bit boring, Andy. Surely I should be playing something that's a bit more complex rhythmically. No, the reason it's boring is not because it needs to get more complex. It's because I'm placing it right at the beginning of the phrase. 1, 2, 3, 4. Ba-da-da-dee-4. Ba-da-da. And that also sounds rubbish. Let's move it away from the 1. I'll count it in. So this is on the beat. 1, 2, 3, 4, and let's move it away now from that downbeat. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Right now, so you see, don't place things at the beginning. It's boring, and then people go, oh, it's boring. Move it away from the 1. Now, the other thing on the guitar is we can bend notes, and bend notes sound like someone talking. It's like, oh, or singing. It's like vocalization. So if you're going to bend a note on a guitar, if you're bending this note here, which is a flat 7, we're going to bend it up to the 1. Now, this is where the blues is like jazz. Jazz will create tension through the notes, whereas blues creates that sort of tension through the bends. So let's have a look at the bend here. Whoa. Right, so you see, now you're starting to see the limits of my abilities, because sometimes I'm nailing that bend, I'm getting the bend right and I'm adding the vibrato right, sometimes I'm not. I need to go back and practice this stuff. You got to practice your vibrato, because your vibrato, right, listen, here's this now. This is the lost art of guitar player. This is what no kids work on, because they're too worried about going, you know, they want all that and they don't want to work on the vibrato and bends. So what I'm saying is use the pentatonic. Don't be ashamed of playing it. It works over this G minor, right? And learn how to phrase with it, which means play rhythmically, right? Work out which notes sound good. Try and return to those notes. Get your bends right. Get your vibrato right. Basically, work on the stuff to make these 5 notes sound good. This is why the blues created all the expressive aspects of modern rock music, reggae, funk, and everything. If you can nail soloing in a pentatonic, you can tell a story. Once you've got those skills, you can then pass those on into other harmonic shapes, which you can then pull the same story out, okay? Now, I know what you're thinking. It's all really great, but this George Benson tune's not in G minor, is it? It's not in G minor. It's all over the place. And I really want to play to the chord changes. That's what I want to do. And you're not telling me about that, Andy. Well, until you got this stuff down and you can solo over one chord, right? you can't move on. Now, what I've got here is, if you look at the beginning of this Masquerade, it starts like this. That's the first part, right? That's like the A section, as if you like. Now, all of that is in G minor. So from a diatonic point of view, even though the chords are very rich and beautiful, these rich and beautiful chords in G minor, because we're staying in G minor, they should make your pentatonic sound better rather than worse. So sometimes if you just stick on that rock pentatonic, what you'll find is that will be changed by the chords changing underneath. And you've got to learn that first before you start to play through those chord changes. I can remember watching the great B.B. King at Live Aid. He comes and gets up with someone, I can't remember who it is, but he gets, I think it's Live Aid, some gig he gets up with, I think it's Live Aid. Don't quote me on this. So he gets up and he's like, they're playing something and it's not diatonic, it's got like some weird chord changes. It's not. So he can't find his rock pentatonic box, right? And you see on his face, and he looks at it and he goes, right, well, I'm just gonna have to go for it. And he starts playing blues pentatonic, even though it don't fit the chords, but he plays with so much conviction, he just does, right? So this is something you need to do. Now, what's going on with this chord progression at the beginning? Well, we start off with the minor, and then it does quite a famous chord progression little vamp. Is it takes that root, the G, and then it moves it down a semitone, and it moves down a semitone again. And that does this to the chord. G minor with this note added that's dropped down here, which gives us this sound. Now that is a minor major 7. It's utilised a lot in James Bond films. So it is your Mr. Bond. And then it drops down again to the minor 7. You can keep going to the minor 6. Now this is probably most famously utilised in My Funny Valentine, Sweet Comic Valentine, right? That is there. Or, probably even more famous, there's a lady who's sure all that glitters is gold. Right, so there's that. It's utilised over and over again. Now, as we said, this is coming from G minor. So you can play G minor over the whole of that progression if you want. I'm going to do some of that G minor pentatonic over the whole progression. So I've got the whole progression here. Just see how, where I've got to loop it. Right, so let's just look at this bit here then. So I've just taken that bit there. Now let's just give it some rock pentatonic over the lot of that, see what happens. That, Andy, I don't care. I want to be able to play the jazz. Right, there's a funny chord in there. I want to be able to play it. Right, so the theory is this. When it does this, it drops to this chord, right? Minor major 7. Now, the minor major 7 does not exist in the major minor diatonic system. We're not in a major or minor scale. Pentatonic don't fit over it, major scale won't fit over it, none of the major modes will fit over it. We're in a completely different world here. For a few seconds we're in this world, the minor major 7 world. Now, the chord that will fit that, the scale that will fit that will be the melodic minor, right? So the melodic minor sounds like this. Now there I am playing the melodic minor, and as you can see, I know that better than the minor because it's a pain in the bum and I've had to study it. So what is the melodic minor? Well, if we were to take, how's the best way to think of this? If we were to take, I'm in G, I'm playing G melodic minor, so play the G major scale, flat the third. Right, so that is the melodic minor sound. So it's logical. What you're going to do is you're going to have to jump in for that few seconds that chord's lasting into the melodic minor scale. Well, yes, except that all the notes except for one are the same as the minor scale, and we know the minor scale don't really work. So what we're going to do, we're going to hope that out of those 7 notes that you just happen to hit the one note that's different. What's the one note that's different? The one that's in the chord, right? So this one, that's the note that's different. So I suggest that what you do is take the rock pentatonic box and try and go to that note and practice it until it starts to become part of your system, like this. So you're going to go. So I'm adding the major 6 in from the Dorian mode there a little bit. I do apologise. But you can see, just by going, I know that note's there, and I'm going to add it in. So when you're phrasing, right, if you can get to that note at that point in time, right, you've got it sussed. It's like, but if you can't, just then don't worry about it. I've been on jazz gigs, I'll tell you this. No other teachers are going to tell you this because they want to sound like they know what they're doing. But I'm a drummer, so I'm not invested in being a great guitar player. I have literally been on jazz standards, playing jazz guitar solos, and I'm playing it off the chart, which I can just about do. And I'm playing through the chords, and then I see a couple of chords coming up, and there's too many of them, and I don't know what they are. You know what I do at that point to get through that bit? I stop playing. I can remember being on this gig and there was a whole bunch of chords, and it was going too fast for me, and I can pick it up by ear just about, but these chords at the end, the last few chords, right, so I just stop playing or play something random. But playing random is hard because you've got to practice it. I practice just going around the guitar, trying to get... Now to do this, I have to actually utilise a lot of shapes from the melodic minor to get out of the major scale and then try and mirror those shapes. It's actually quite hard to play like that. So I have got that in my arsenal. I can sort of just let go and just go wandering off anywhere and then try and bring it back. Now this, nobody wants to talk about this, but I think this is a really, really good way of approaching weirdness that you don't understand. It's just for that moment, get outside and then come back, right? All this needs to be practiced, okay? Now here, we're in G minor. And it does this, it actually goes to a C7. You all know that C7, don't you? Right, we've got C7. But I'm playing a C9. Now, if you put the C7 shape and the C9 together, we get a scale. I don't know what, I'd call this a dominant pentatonic scale. It looks like this. I'm going to add this note in here. Now, I'm not thinking this as a scale. I'm thinking this as the minor 9 shape. And then a straight line across here. Now again, what you look at it, you go, well, this looks pretty. It looks pretty much like the rock pentatonic, except there's one note changing. We are changing from here now to the major third of that C7 chord. Right, so basically, we could know all our chord forms and scales and everything, or we could just know that those two notes are there. So I could go for the first chord, G minor pentatonic, then add that note in the major 7, then return back, and then put this. So here, I'm actually thinking the rock pentatonic, but just adding one note into it. Not adding it, actually swapping it out. Now, we could put this back into the scales. We could have a rock pentatonic, but with that major 7 thing that would look like this. You know, as we start to get these sorts of lines. I'm just thinking of adding a note into the rock pentatonic. Or here. And I have to be honest, this is my material. This is how I think of playing through chords. So to put this more simply, I think of the chord shape and then I try and add other chord shapes that I know that will work. So you need to know your chords. You need to know we've got that 9, 13. We got that 7 shape. We got this. So also, if I look at the shapes here, I've got this major triad here. So all of these shapes are not coming for the dominant chords. When it comes to playing dominant chords, I tend to use the actual shape of the chord. And if it's happening quick, I need to state the sound of that. So if I just take the dominant 9 shape, I hope you all know that shape there. If I take that shape there, right, we could do this. Rock pentatonic. Then we put that down. Now there, that is just me playing the notes out of the chord shape, not the scale, the chord shape. Now, if that chord then lasts for a long time, you can get to a scale. It actually becomes easier. But when chords are passing quickly, just use the notes out of the chord shape. This was fundamentally the thing I wanted to get across here. So say if you're playing a 2-5-1, everyone talks about this, and you want to get into soloing, well, try, and then. So we get this. Right there, that little line now sounds like a 2-5-1. Am I using scales? No. Am I using arpeggios? No. I'm using the chord shape. And that's the way into the chord. If the chord's not lasting a long time, you're done. You're moving on to the next one. Now, you'll find when you start to play bebop with this type of approach that you will feel completely hemmed in. And you are. That is the straitjacket of bebop. That's why it's hard. If you do it for years and years and years, what happens? Your ears start to go, I know what this sounds like. I can hear it. My fingers know where to go. Now just let me take control. And when the fine motor control takes over, then it's just coming out of your fingers, right? Nobody's thinking about this stuff when they play it. It's their fingers that know it. I'm trying on this video to explain the things that no one else will tell you, right? So let's take this, chop this beginning off here and start to solo over it. So. G minor major 7, G minor 7, C7. Right, so I'm gonna solo it through using these methods now. Rock pentatonic. You do that. Once you've got into that, however hard it is and awkward, to start off with, it will be awkward. Slow it down at the right speed and start slowly sawing you through those shapes. And eventually your ears will start to go, I can hear things now. I know what things got, and it will start to develop slowly, right? Now, towards the end, it gets worse. This chord progression does this. We got these scales. And then it does the same thing, and then it goes. And it goes to here, in my key, E flat 7, I'm playing an E flat 9. And then it does something horrendous, it goes to an A minor 7 flat 5. And then I'm going to a D Hendrix chord, a D7 sharp 9, and then I'm also moving it to the flat 9. So we get this. Now here, there are no major or minor modes, there's no pentatonic that fits any of these chords, right? And this is the problem. This is all over the place. It's a great big jumble of notes. It's a great big jumble of notes. Well, why don't we just play out a tune through that? What does that actually sound like? So what I'm going to do is when this bit comes in, right, not there, because we've played this dominant chord. So when we play the stuff here, let's just move that dominant chord shape up to here, and then this weird thing, I'm just going to play random notes there, and I'm going to basically play the rock pentatonic moved up a fret. It don't fit, but let's see what it sounds like. You could do this because basically there's too much stuff going on. A minor 7 flat 5, and then a D altered 7 sharp 9 or whatever. There's too much notes going on. They're all over. We can see it. So just play random notes. See if that works. So it's looping now. There's a C7 that goes back to G minor. So what the hell's going on here? Well, in jazz terms, this is basically a minor 2-5-1, and it's a 2-5-1 that's created from that melodic minor scale, right? Or even the harmonic minor scale. So we could play, if you know it at that point, we could play G harmonic minor. You could play that if you wanted there over that 2-5-1. Should I play a bit of harmonic minor? This is often a way to get into it. Right, so a minor 2-5-1, you can play the harmonic minor over. So that is my approach to playing to the first half, at least, of this tune. So I'm going to finish up by taking some solos where I'm not going to worry so much about these shapes. I'm going to play more by ear. Hope you enjoy this stuff, and hopefully you'll stick around for when my George Benson's video's on. So thanks for listening. Let's have a go. Yeah, let's have a go at this then. So I'm just going to take a solo over the first half of this Masquerade. Right, so oh, I thought it'd be that bad taste to stick a whole bunch of distortion in and let fly. Now, what you saw was I spent hours doing stuff like that, trying to play gently, trying to get the notes, and then just stick the distortion and go mad, get lost, make mistakes, And the thing is, your body starts to pick up, all that work, that doesn't work, you could go there, you could not go there. But more importantly, there was a certain point in that where after really pulling the distortion, I'm going, I'll just sod it, let's just rock out and play a whole bunch of noise. Then after I got used to being in that world, I returned back to the harmonic framework and started to play that, and that started to get really interesting. And I found that there's something in my body that clicks. So... that started to become interesting to me. As a guitar player, I've always erred towards Hendrix, John McLaughlin. I love Holdsworth. I wish I could play like that, but I can't. I like it to be out of control. I love like Bill Cott's playing. I love Ray Gomez's playing, where it really sounds like it's out of control. And trying to get through chord changes with that out of control sound, I find very, very difficult. So I need to practice it, and I don't play anymore like I used to, so I need to practice it. But I hope I haven't ruined my reputation with all the crud I just played then. But I just started playing and having some fun with it. So I apologise for having fun, all you serious players out there. And we live in as we get to the end of this video, it's much longer than I thought it would be. As we get to the end of this video, that thing that the internet has created, where I've got to sit here and can never play a bum note, can never go wrong, can never make a mistake, as though nobody else, that never happens to anybody else. This is fake, and it is ruining music, right? Have the guts. I feel bad doing it there, just letting loose, right? If I was recording something for public, normally I would have stopped and gone, oh, you cocked it up there and cocked it up. But I would sat here for, an hour or so, trying to get a solo that I was happy with, maybe edited it, got some of the mistakes out, and I'd present that to the public. I think we need to stop doing this. So I would love those of you who got to the end of the video, say, what do you prefer? Listen to me so like that, really pushing it to the edge of what I can do, sometimes coming up with some quite cool stuff and also losing my way. Are you happy to hear those mistakes, or would you rather have me come along and now edited every time that happened out, so it was just a great big list of me being perfect Andy? That is an interesting question. And I think when you get the right answer for that and then go back to practicing your improvisation, you might find you are freer to actually approach this in a way which is more conducive to artistic expression and you getting what you want out there than doing the sort of special dance over the stepping stones of perfection that have been laid on us by a bunch of snobby gatekeepers, right? And that's something I really want to get across. So I'm quite pleased I've done that, and I was quite pleased I was able to, articulate that at the end of the video. So this is that one done. This is raw YouTubing. I haven't recorded that. I've just recorded on the camera mic. I hope the audio sounds great. If it sounds really terrible, this will probably become a members video. And if you want to join a membership here, you can become a member. Or you can become a member over my Patreon. There's all the ways to support me. If you want to also support me, you could put some money in my PayPal tip jar. And of course, like and subscribe. Thank you all. See you on the next video.